Are you struggling with roadblocks as a woman in the challenging and constantly changing world of corporate America? If you feel stuck in your career, you may be holding yourself back and may not even realize it. Prepare to be enlightened by the meaningful discussions here at the No Woman Left Behind podcast. Each week, gather the insight you need to break down those walls of limiting beliefs. Unleash your full potential and unlock the leader within. Listen to raw conversations with corporate women as they share inspiring stories with the purpose of obtaining their dream career and living a truly fulfilling life. Here's your host, Rosie Zilinskas.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the No Woman Left Behind podcast show. I'm Rosie Zilinskas, your podcast host. When was the last time that you looked at your LinkedIn profile? Is it up to date? Or could you go back to your LinkedIn profile and dust it off? Today, I have invited a very special guest to talk to us about the different components on the LinkedIn profile that you can utilize and a tremendous amount of real estate on your LinkedIn profile that you could optimize if you are looking for a job or to apply for a promotion. It is so important for you to have the various components done and looking beautifully so that when someone comes to your profile, number one, they see that you put in an effort in creating a really informative and professional LinkedIn profile. So what we're going to do today is Lisa is going to show us some components on her LinkedIn profile. If you are listening to this, you might want to go to the episode website and pull up the YouTube, and you will be able to see what we're talking about. So let me tell you about Lisa. She is the CEO of LK Advisors LLC. She is a marketing strategist, speaker, facilitator, and trainer who focuses on helping businesses and entrepreneurs learn how to establish and grow their online presence to get visible, connect with their ideal clients, and use their digital real estate in strategic, effective ways to get results. Her approach is to demystify the ever-changing digital landscape to make it easy to understand while sharing proven, actionable tools and tips. Now, obviously, all of the information that Lisa is going to talk about still applies for you if you are in the corporate space, and all of the tips that she shares, you can apply them to your LinkedIn profile. So I'm really excited to have Lisa go through her LinkedIn profile so that she can point out the various components that are, quite frankly, really cool. So with that, stay tuned. Hey everyone, before we go into today's episode, I wanted to remind you that there is a free quiz that you can take on the nowomanleftbehind.com website. If you log on to the homepage and you scroll down just slightly, you're going to see a section that says, let's find out where you are in your career. If you click on the radio button that's called Take the Quiz, there will be a pop-up that comes up and it says, what's the key blocker in your career path? There are 3 key blockers that you may be operating under and you may not even know it. So if you click on just take the quiz, it's going to be about 10 questions. It really shouldn't take you more than 3 minutes. And then you're going to be able to get some additional resources just by taking the quiz. So remember, go to nowomanleftbehind.com to take the free quiz. Hey, Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. So I want to ask you right away, obviously you are a LinkedIn expert, and this show primarily caters to women in the corporate world. So if someone is just looking for a job, why is a LinkedIn profile important?
Well, Rosie, thank you for having me, and hello to everyone, especially if you're curious about LinkedIn. Especially the other piece of this, what I've discovered over the years I've been doing this, is many of us signed up for LinkedIn a long time ago. You know, LinkedIn's been around since 2003, almost 20 years. In May, it'll be 20 years. And, we've forgotten about it. So for whatever reason we signed up when we did, it's kind of gone by the wayside. So right now, LinkedIn has exploded. Since 2020, when the pandemic hit, LinkedIn has added over 250 million members. which is just mind blowing when you think about that kind of growth in a short period of time. So absolutely, it's time to reinvigorate, reignite, and get back on track with LinkedIn, no matter where you are in your place in the corporate world, whatever place you're moving toward. It is now the place to be, especially if you are in the business to business space. So I just encourage, if it's been something you have forgotten about, now's the time to go back and take another look. And if you're gotten back into it, we're going to talk about some really interesting, cool things you need to be doing now because of all those changes and all those new people.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. I didn't realize that LinkedIn was going to be 20 years old or is 20 years old already. Wow, that's quite a long time ago. Now, the reason why I think it's important for someone in the corporate world to have a LinkedIn profile, or for an entrepreneur, a woman that maybe is in corporate that's looking to leave corporate, because that's happened a lot over the last, few years, is to showcase their experience, their accomplishments, their capabilities, their skills, and ultimately improve their profile so that someone can find them. That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. So, what are some things that maybe you can walk us through that's really important on a profile for them to at least have a picture, for example, or have their work history? So, why don't we just kind of start picking your brain on going through a LinkedIn profile, and what are some of the important things that you think we should be focusing on?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, going back to what the purpose of the profile in the old days, or what you may be stuck in your profile, is that it is thought of as just a place for your resume. And it is far past that. So your profile now, because of all the amazing new features that LinkedIn has given us, makes your profile an amazing way to give you a first impression that gives over and above what a resume can do. So it really can bring out your authentic self. It can allow you to showcase a lot more of your experience and your whatever type of work you do, how to really enhance that beyond what a resume could ever do. So it truly will introduce you in a completely different way and give a different first impression than a piece of paper. So that's the first thing. So you have to rethink the purpose of a profile beyond that resume, because I think some of us still are stuck in that thinking. And then to go into the actual profile itself, let's just start at the top. So what we like to call that, for those who may have a little journalism experience, when you looked at a newspaper, we used to talk about above the fold. So anything that was placed above the fold, because remember, newspapers used to fold. Now it's like that, whatever you see on your screen in your computer, that's the most important stuff, because many people don't go past that. So you have to think about that in terms of your profile. What do people see as soon as they land on it? And your first thing you said is a photo, hugely important. So you really want to think about what that photo looks like. It needs to be current. Don't be throwing a photo up there from 20 years ago because you look so good back then. Doesn't matter. You need to be, look like who you are, but it does pay to have a professional headshot done. So I would invest in that because it will pay in so many different ways. So a professional headshot, rule of thumb, at least a minimum of 60% of your head should be in it. So I see all kinds of different profiles and you can barely see the person's face. Now you want to be able to see the face. That's really important because you're getting that first impression. People need to know that you're a real person. Pictures of your dogs and cats are not appropriate. Pictures of you with other people, not appropriate. I've seen it all. The other thing that LinkedIn offers us, which is really different in the respect that there's what's called a profile banner. Many people don't use this, but there's a banner that goes behind your head, right?
Right.
Huge opportunity for you to at least put an image there. When you go and click on that, LinkedIn actually gives you a few standard ones you can pick from. So if you do not have any experience in graphic design, you can use one of theirs. At least add something there of interest. By all means, if you, like I said, you mentioned an entrepreneur, if you start a business, but if you want to showcase your own experience or something that you've worked on, maybe you have a patent for a particular invention. Maybe you work with a community group. I mean, maybe you like to volunteer. There are so many ways you can showcase who you are in an image that you can place up there. So no matter what you put something there that adds that value. Then as you scroll down, remember you're above the fold, you're still looking at that top. And one of the first things that's there is what's first your name. And I always recommend in your name, if it makes sense, to add your professional designations. So, in that case, if you have a PhD, Absolutely. If you have any other credentials, CPA or gosh, there's so many of them, right? But if you have a credential that has a letter, add that to it. That's highly, highly important. It's not the place to add all kinds of other things. That's just for credentials. You have a headline right underneath that. People mistake that headline doesn't have any extra characters. It defaults to the title of your first work experience if you don't put anything there. But you have the opportunity to change that. And this goes back to what you were talking about with how people can use LinkedIn and get found, from the search capabilities. And LinkedIn tells us that in your headline, the keywords you use in there are really important because the algorithm searches them. So you can expand that headline to increase visibility, increase getting found by adding certain keywords or phrases that people may be searching for the kind of expertise that you have. So if you're looking to connect with certain kinds of folks, you want the ability to be found for those things. So think beyond the title, and you don't need to put your title and your company there. It's redundant. It's already everywhere else on your profile. Opportunity is to really use that space for something much more descriptive of what you do and who you help and the kind of work you do. So right there, we've got your profile banner, your photo, your name, your headline. There's another cool feature, actually two video features a lot of people don't know about. And another way you can enhance your profile. When your photo, you can actually do a 30-second video.
You taught me that, Lisa. Yeah.
So, and it can only be done on mobile for right now. They may eventually get it to your desktop. So again, you want to stand out, do a 30-second video from using your mobile device for your profile. So your image will show up there, but someone will, when they scroll, it'll actually automatically start that video. So another way to make yourself stand apart, right? If you're searching for a job, it's a great way to have a quick message explaining that you're, looking for new opportunities. If you're looking to connect with more people, it's a great way to say, hey, I'm looking to connect with. So then the other place is in your actual name, again, only on mobile that you can do it, but it's seen both on mobile and desktop, is you can do a name pronunciation. So if you have a difficult name to pronounce, and some of us do, you can actually use that 10-second audio clip to do that. And it just helps folks, connect with you more. And, it's almost like back to you're doing something online, but if I met you in person and you reached out and you shook your hand and say, hi, I'm Lisa. And you said, hi, I'm Rosie. When I heard your name, I would know how you say it.
Right.
But you don't have the same opportunity on a screen. So take advantage of that.
For those that are on video, I'm going to share my screen really quick so that we can showcase a little bit about, if you're on YouTube, you can always find the No Woman Left Behind show on YouTube. But I do love this because Lisa has a banner here with her pictures, and then when you click on her picture and you click on it, her little video pops up, and then right next to her name is that little speaker that she was talking about that you can actually say your name. So obviously my name is Rosie Zilinskas, but you have no idea how many people miss that S. It's like Zilinskas. So I have the same thing. So I love that, these other features. So I'm going to leave this up for a little bit, Lisa, so that you can talk about your profile as you're describing your process. So please go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So I appreciate that. So yeah, as you can see, even in my description, I have a lot more information there about who I help, what kinds of work that I do. And beyond that, you see where it says contact info? Many people forget that contact info is an opportunity for you to add other ways for people to contact you. So you want to take a look at that. You can add your email, you can add other websites, you can add a phone number. So that's really important because it will just let you know, and you can choose how you want that to happen, but you should add other ways for people to contact you. Just another way of networking, right? It's your business card. You're handing out, here's my profile, but by the way, here's my email address or here's my phone number. And you can turn certain things on and off depending on where you are. So if you're job searching and you want that email address there, great. But if you don't want getting emails, you can take that off and just have a website to go to for your company. So whatever makes sense for you. Beyond that, we're going to scroll down a little bit because what's most important here. One of the things you may see here, now I have all my profile sections complete. If you have not done that, you will see a bar up here that will determine what level you are in completion. It could be from just beginning to intermediate to advanced. If you don't see anything, it means you're done. Okay, so that's kind of the key. They used to say all-star, which is the top level.
Yeah.
Now they don't say it. You just don't see anything. But I just want to let you know, if you're looking at your profile as we're going through this, if it's LinkedIn is prompting you to add other sections, add those sections. Just keep going by. You want to get to all-star or completion of your profile as LinkedIn says to. And the reason being, LinkedIn has told us that when you're at all-star level, when you've completed your profile to their level, what they determine is complete, you will get seen in more searches and you'll have greater reach and engagement in your posts. So LinkedIn will demote if you don't get there. So you want to get there so that you are optimally getting the most out of LinkedIn.
I'm glad that you said the level of completion, because I was going nuts the other day. And again, I sat through one of your trainings and you said, if you don't see anything, then you're done. I was like, oh, well, no wonder, because I was looking everywhere. I was looking for the old stars, because I remember back when they did have the old stars and I could never find it. And then when you finally said, okay, well, then that's because you're done. I'm like, oh my gosh, I spent time looking for it. So that's great information. And of course, this is, all of these sections you can enhance whether you're a corporate employee or an entrepreneur, because you can just put more sections in there, right?
Yes. And you want to, because remember, this is your first impression. And because it's more than a resume, and if you click on that more button right next to where, if you click there, that's where it's going to tell you all the different sections that are available to you. Not wanting to open? There. Nope, it's not there. Why is it not showing all your sections? Oh, because you're not, because you're on my profile.
Oh,
so
I'm on your public profile.
When I'm there, I can see it. Sorry about that.
Sure.
When you're on your own profile, gosh, you forget. And you click on that, you're going to see that you can go to other sections. Delete them. And so if you're like, well, where's the volunteer section? I want to add volunteer work there. It's up there. You just have to add that section if you haven't added it before. Gosh, that was so silly. All right. But the other thing here, when I was talking about some added features that LinkedIn has given us, is what's called this featured section. And why is this important? Why do you want to do it? So when you look at this, it's just a way of showcasing your expertise. So, looking at if you're in the corporate world and say you've written a case study or a white paper, or you've worked on a really cool project, or you do graphic design work. I mean, there are just so many different things that you work on in your current position that are worthwhile being highlighted and seen. This is where you put it. And you put it so you have to add the featured section. So that's one of the reasons why you want to go to the add the section to your profile. And once you add that section, then you can add feature, and that featured section can be anything. It doesn't have to be on LinkedIn. You can feature a post if it makes sense that you posted something, but you can also feature a link. So say you were featured as Employee of the Month, or as for an Outstanding Service Award or something of that nature, and it's online, either in a newsletter or somewhere online, you can take that link and post it here. If you have a PDF or a PowerPoint presentation or something of that nature, or even a Word document, you can add that here. So you can add things here that are not only LinkedIn focused. So it's recommended. I have a few more because I just add different things here. I had some testimonials and whatnot, but it's recommended do at least 3. Okay. You can. And the reason you see 3, because you see 3 there. That's why. So if you do 1 or 2, that's fine. But if you can do up to 3, highly recommended. Features 3 different things. As you can see in my case,
one of the things that I see on here is your LinkedIn Less is More worksheet. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I like this section a lot.
Yes. So take advantage of that. Now, the activity piece of it, that's nothing you can do. It just shows your activity on LinkedIn so that you can look at other people's activities. So you say, Rosie's looking at my profile. You can look at my activity. So the key thing here is a kind of a little advanced way of using LinkedIn. If you are following certain people, other thought leaders that you know that share really good information that you typically like to repost or interact with, one of the ninja tricks is that you can bookmark their activity areas, and then just go to their activity when you want to. So this was high level ninja stuff, Rosie. So I don't know if I'm getting too far and above what your group would want to do, but I just know it's a great shortcut because I have a list of about 10 people that I like to follow their activity, but I don't want to have to be going to their profile, then going to that. So the one way you can do it, if you scroll down there just a tad bit, it says see all activity. When you click on that, that'll open up all my activity.
Got it.
And then that URL, you can save that. You can bookmark that.
Okay.
And then you could say Lisa's activity as that bookmark, and then just go to that. And then you could, so if there are several other thought leaders, I mostly do this for other thought leaders that really share high end, like Simon Sinek would be a great one. I'm always sharing some great content. I don't want to have to go the long way to get to stuff. I don't want to have to wait till it shows up in my feed. I want to be proactive. That's a time efficiency thing, by the way, one of the tricks. So that's where the activity can help you. But going back to your profile and what's important. So right there, slow down. Right there's a great place to stop. The about section. So don't see more yet. What you want to do is you want to entice someone to see more. As you can see, LinkedIn truncates it. You only see about 3 lines. And this is what a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and anyone, who's looking for a job or just wants to get people to engage more and interact more with you. Like you want to really increase your profile on LinkedIn. You want people to find out more about you. This about section is your opportunity to really expand what you want people to know about you far and beyond the resume, far and beyond everything. In fact, in some of the things I teach, I kind of give an outline just as a template, example of how you can fill this in, because you have like 3,000 characters. It's a lot of space. You can put so much more in here that is engaging and interactive versus a job listing, an experience listing. So you want to use those first 3 lines as attention grabbing information. Something like, why would I want to see more? So that's a challenge. But clearly, you got to think a little bit differently of like, what would interest someone who lands on your profile to say, I want to learn more about you. In this case, most people who know me as a LinkedIn expert, they want to get more visible on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So my less is more worksheet is something that I promote. And I just leave it at that. No more. That's all I'm looking for right now. I'm very strategic in that decision. But I've worked with, hundreds of people on LinkedIn profiles. And sometimes a very provocative question is a great way to start that out, because they're like, oh, yeah, I have that question. If you know what their question is, then they're like, well, see more. What's the answer to that question?
Right.
So that's one way of looking at it. Or just something about very thought-provoking about what you do. That's my recommendation. And of course, I do lots of brainstorming with folks on how they can approach that. And then just from that.
That makes sense, because if I see something that's really interesting, like, okay, this says get visible on LinkedIn 40 minutes a week. Well, I want to know, how do I get more visible on 40 minutes a week? Tell me more. So I'm going to see what see more looks like in your profile now here. Okay. And now you have different sections, like what you do. All right. Helped. Okay.
So in my case, what I've chosen, again, there are lots of different ways you can do this. So there's no hard and fast. You just want this to speak to whoever you want to land on your profile. That's the idea here. So whoever your target is, because you can't be to everyone. That's not the key here. So if you want other thought leaders, if you want other folks to network with, it just depends on where you are. If you're looking for a job and you're looking for recruiters to land there. So you need to be speaking to them, because you can change this as many times as you want. So if you had a couple different variations of this, you can change it depending on where you are in your career and what you're looking to accomplish. In my case, what do I do? So yes, I have this wonderful cheat sheet that you can find, but I also have people like, well, I'm a strategist. I also help with speaking. I have a Get Visible Academy, which I launched. And then who have I helped? So do I fall in that category? Could you see yourself there? So pretty simple, but there are other things you can do here. All right. I just want you to be, and just one of the things is that LinkedIn doesn't let you do any formatting. So this is not like a Word document where we think we can bold and underline. So one of the tactics I do use all caps. You can put emojis in here now. So if you can copy and paste emojis in. So if you want to get an arrow emoji or a check marker, so you can kind of dress it up somewhat. The key thing here is what I recommend. Make sure you have short paragraphs and space. Give people a chance to be able to digest it and see it, and not one big lump of text. The second reason why, it is already shown that 60% of people who look at LinkedIn are doing it from their mobile phone. You have to think mobile friendly.
Yeah.
And when you're scrolling through your phone, when you see one big block of text, what do? Keep scrolling. Yeah. You want to stop that thumb, right? So think about it in that terms as well. Is that most people are looking at your profile on a mobile device.
Absolutely. And I like the tip of white space in between, the paragraphs. I mean, that makes a big difference. It just makes it easier on the eyes to read. Okay. I think experience is where people don't put enough in here. So let's go through the experience section.
Great. So as the owner and founder of my own company, clearly that's where you're going to see the most information. And I've been working and I've owned the company since 2008. Gosh, way too long.
Awesome.
In a good way. In a good way. I have lots of corporate experience underneath that. But as you can see, I'm expanding on that. So a couple things when you see here. Number one, again, I'm using the caps feature to make it stand out because I can't use, other word typing. I can't bold it, whatever. You see, you have those two things, skills, and then you have the documents. So it's called media. So in each experience section, you can add skills now. Huge. Remember, getting found. So you want to list the top skills that you bring to your experience. Okay. In every experience section that matters. I mean, that matters because we can have experience that doesn't relate today to what you might be wanting people to find you for. But clearly your current position, add your skills. That's a very new feature, by the way. That's only rolled out in the last few months. Media has been around for quite some time. You can add media, and media, similar to what we were talking about in the features section, can be an upload of a PDF, a document, a PowerPoint. So there are lots of things you can add to your media. So similarly, well, you may have in your features section, can it be redundant here? Sure, why not? Because what people see up there and what people see here, they don't see both of them, number one. We have short memories, believe it or not. And it makes sense if it fits in the job that you're looking at, the experience you're looking at. So you want to think to add some media by all means, even if it's just a photo of you getting an award. I mean, that's relatable, right? Because it's showing the award in a different way, especially with some kind of prestigious award. So add media, add skills. And similarly, as you see, you want people to want to add more. And you were saying, Rosie, such a big point is people most likely just put their job title, right? And they don't even expand on that. I mean, clearly you don't want to make up a job title, but you want the job title to be explicit to what you do. So think about that. And
I have a question here. As far as the media, this is not where you would put in an actual PDF of your resume, right? I just want to be clear on that.
I don't see where you put your PDF or resume anywhere on LinkedIn because your profile really is, that's what it is.
Right.
And people can download your profile as a PDF. Did you know that?
I did not. No.
Yes,
I knew you could do a QR code.
That's different. QR code, that little ninja trick, which you can see right here on mine. If you put your phone up to that, you are going to go straight to my LinkedIn profile. But you can actually download as a PDF anyone's profile. So once you scroll back up, actually go see where the more button is. Not there, on the top banner by my name.
Oh, yes.
Yep. See where that is?
Yep.
Click on it.
There it is.
And see where it says save to PDF?
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
And that will download. So any PDF that you want, of a profile, you can save and it'll download as a PDF.
Wow, this is really cool. I'm going to open it up quick here to see. Oh my goodness gracious. This is awesome. Look at all this information that people can download.
See how that is so much more powerful than a resume?
Yes, this is incredible. Gold here, Lisa. Gold.
So clearly, and you might want to download your profile as a PDF to share in an email or, another capacity, right? So
that's a fantastic point right there, because obviously people in the corporate world specifically still use a traditional resume. And I do resume services, so I know it's usually we limit it to like 2 pages. But if you really wanted someone to get a whole picture of your LinkedIn profile, that is a fantastic feature. So I love that.
And you can specify, this is my LinkedIn profile. So people will not realize, and here's a key thing too. You could download yours, look at it, and then say, where do I need to go back and enhance this? Where could it make sense? Now that I see it in print, because you're right, when you see something in print, other than when you see it on screen, has 2 different perspectives. So it might be much more powerful for you to print that out, and then you can enhance your one here. So I love that you did that. And it was a great demonstration of doing that. The other thing you're going to see I've done here, and what's important, depending again on where you are in your career and what you're looking to enhance, is you can add other experience that don't necessarily have to be jobs.
Okay.
So what would that look like? So maybe you took on a special assignment, not necessarily a project per se, but you got to work on a 6-month assignment that you were able to, utilize a very specific type of a skill set that you had. You could actually put that as a job, because it's an experience, not really a job. You can put that as experience and label what that was, and then enhance that project that you did, and add some media to that. So that's one place you could put it there. In my case, I'm a podcast co-host. I also keynote speaker. So those are different things I do in addition to being the owner of my company. The different roles I have. So that's one thing you can do. And then the other thing is you can actually add what we call projects. If you scroll down a little bit, so projects gets buried.
Yes.
So you can add projects as well. All right. And then what's kind of cool about, if you look at the one with EPS Corporation, I can add other people in there. So this is a great way to enhance your resume, your online profile, by adding other folks that you may have co-created on a project together. So that's where it could be different in the projects area versus what you put in the experience. Makes sense? So if you've really collaborated on some projects, I would recommend adding it to the projects, because then it gives you bigger reach from collaborating with others. Whereas if you kind of did it on your own, add it to your experience. So lots of opportunities and ways you can slice and dice it, but you want to think outside the box in that way of kind of the work that you're doing and you're involved in what you're doing in your current position.
Got it. Okay.
As you can see, I'm filling out all these different sections. You want to take advantage of filling out every section. So volunteer work, organizations,
yeah, this is amazing.
Projects, publications, all these things. Of course, you definitely want to get recommendations. Very, very important to get recommendations. Yeah.
What are the benefits of the recommendations section?
Several different. First of all, LinkedIn wants you to get recommendations. LinkedIn, as a part of the all-star and the completion of your profile, they want to see at least a few recommendations. But beyond that, if you're in job search mode, clearly your recruiters are going to be looking at your recommendations, because your recruiters want to see what other people are saying about you. Even if we know a recommendation is going to be positive, no one's going to put a review up there and says you were horrible to work with. But clearly, if you have a number of recommendations, that's a good sign. It means people want to talk about working with you and that they found it a good experience. And that's important for a recruiter, right? They want team players. And if you come across as a team player, then that's going to matter. And one way to get recommendations is to give recommendations.
That's a great idea. Okay, so obviously we've been talking about all the different sections on LinkedIn that are important. And we talked about this a little bit, but LinkedIn Less is More worksheet. Tell me a little bit about the worksheet and where can people download it?
So thank you for asking. And the reason I created this worksheet came out of organically from me. So similar to everyone else, I've had a profile since 2006 on LinkedIn. Started it way back when, in the corporate world, and it sat around there for a while. Then I started teaching how to use LinkedIn in 2009, 2010. And got really invested in understanding how to use LinkedIn. So it was very active. And then things slowed down. I got inconsistent. I used it. I didn't use it. I used it. I didn't use it, which is very similar to lots of folks, because LinkedIn for many, many years didn't show the benefits that it could have. And then around 2017, 2018, I had moved to a new area. I reinvigorated my LinkedIn, and I was really figuring out how to be more consistent. And the two things that I hear most of is I don't have enough time and I don't know what to do. That's it. People, I've trained and teach people a lot on LinkedIn, and that's what they say. I just don't have time. Well, yes, you do have enough time. And when you do know what to do, you just need a cheat sheet. You just need someone to show you how to do it and what time to allocate toward it. So what I was doing is on my own. I was practicing that, what I was preaching to you now. I started monitoring, I started tracking my time. I started getting really hyper-focused and strategic on what I was doing. And over time, I'm like, wow, you came up with something. You should probably share this. And that's why I came up with the cheat sheet. Is like, write down exactly what you're doing and how much time you're spending. No, I put a stopwatch on. I give myself X amount of time. And this is what's important as far as, it's easy to go down those rabbit holes. It's easy to get distracted by the shiny object stuff. And we don't have that time. We really don't. So I've got 10 minutes to do X, in, out, done. And even just doing that, I will see results. So that came out of literally me documenting what I was doing. So I came up with the less is more, because that's what it is. You don't need as much time as you think to get the results that you want, and created this little cheat sheet, and it is available on my website, lisakanda.com. It's right there on the homepage. You can download it right from there. And it gives you exactly what to do 2 days a week and 20 minutes a day. That's it.
Well, Lisa, I just downloaded your worksheet and I'm going to go through my LinkedIn profile as well. But I know that you have some stuff coming up. So obviously, you and I are connected through one of our networking groups, and you did an actual training for us, and I thought it was fabulous. So I really wanted to have you on the podcast today so that you can tell people what, like, the main purpose, which we've already gone through, but obviously people might need more help. So what are some things that you have coming up where people might be able to participate?
Well, thank you for asking, and thank you for everyone who's watching. And I hope, we didn't move too quickly, but certainly you see the benefits and all the amazing things you can do on LinkedIn now. And I think that's what's so important. LinkedIn has changed a lot, especially in the last 3 years, and there's so much more opportunity. But as we know, with all social media, it's changing so rapidly. You don't have the time to keep up with it. You need someone who's keeping up with it.
Right.
And luckily, that's what I do. So I keep up with what you don't need to. And I just say, here's what's happening and here's what you need to pay some attention. So in that regard, I've found that definitely in the last few years, there's so many new features available that I am really concentrating on helping women, especially women, because that's really who I'm attracted to and who like to work with me. But, entrepreneurs, career women, and anyone who's looking to finally utilize LinkedIn, especially since, I'm sorry to say this, all the other platforms, just don't have time for it. Scrolling through Facebook and Instagram, different purpose.
Right.
Let's put it that way, different purpose. So I have a couple things coming up, because I wrote down, otherwise if I don't write things down. I am doing a webinar, 5 ways to win on LinkedIn and the biggest mistake you're making right now. So a full hour of just hitting those 5. And it goes beyond what we just talked about. So yes, an optimized profile is really important, but it is other things as well in order to really win at using LinkedIn to make it the best opportunity and bring opportunity to you. So that webinar is coming up on May 17th and 18th, and that'll also be available on my website. And if you sign up for the worksheet, you'll be added to my email list. Trust me, I do not spam, but you will receive some notifications if you get the worksheet. Beyond that, I have what's called LinkedIn Fast Track, and that's for someone who really is ready to jump in and get up to speed fast. Not for everybody, but it's a 3-week program, 6 sessions, and you dive in and you do the work with me. Small group. I find that also works better. Is that people, again, we're all time constraints. And so we're working, you're on your LinkedIn. I'm telling you what to do. You're going and doing it right as we speak.
That's awesome. I just opened up my LinkedIn quick and I was taking a peek, and it's not bad, but it could definitely get some improvement. And as you well know, I want to do your fast track because I want to make sure that I have my LinkedIn optimized as much as I can, because I want women that are looking to advance in their careers that feel that they're stuck to find me. And, I need to make sure that my LinkedIn is up to par. So, well, Lisa, this has been a phenomenal, I'm going to call this a training because we actually went through your LinkedIn profile. So great information. So is there anything any 2 actionable tips that you can leave us with so that people can know what to do next?
Of course, I'm going to say, get the less is more worksheet. That cheat sheet just really outlines really quickly what you can do right now. And from my own experience, it's something that I found that I use it. Lots of folks that have worked with me now use it, and they're seeing results, because one of the things is it's incremental things make a huge difference on LinkedIn. So don't think that just by doing this, you're going to start seeing results right away. The second thing that's really important is don't be afraid. It's kind of a simple thing, but consistency is key. Number one thing, consistency is key. So don't be afraid to just start being more consistent in using LinkedIn, because same reason, you'll start seeing results. I think it's one of the quickest platforms you're going to see a quick return on your investment, because people are more engaged on LinkedIn. People are looking, key thing, it's 24/7 networking. 24/7 network. It's going on all the time, no matter where you are. So, you can stop and drop into LinkedIn anytime and someone else is going to be there. So Think about it from that perspective. So just do it. Just
the last thing that I did want to make sure to ask you, and I almost forgot, so I'm glad you brought this up. I typically tell people, if you're looking for a job, you need to identify companies that you want to work at. And then if you can identify 2 or 3 people within that company, send them a networking message so that you can talk to them about their company, and you learn, and then maybe they might know someone who's hiring or whatever. But how would you recommend for someone to approach? It's a cold call. So I'm in corporate, I want to work at XYZ company, and I know Sally. So how would you recommend that I approach Sally when I want to network with her to learn more about her company?
So you know Sally or you don't know Sally?
not
You don't know Sally. So a couple different approaches. If you want, you can pull, you want to share screen again, because it's probably the easiest way to do this.
Sure.
And I'm going to recommend, think of a company that you already know people who work there.
So let's see.
So as Rosie's demonstrating, you're going to go to the search bar. You're going to start typing the company name in. Now you want to go to the left where it says companies.
Okay.
So you definitely want to get to the company. So sometimes it'll come to the drop down. Sometimes you just need to search and then go find. Then you want to find the name of the company. They need to be on LinkedIn, of course.
Okay.
Once you go to their company page, see where it says people, for their couple, see where it says Miriam and 13 other connections work here. So number one, you want to see if you know anyone there that's connected to, okay? So that's the first thing. You just want to see if any connections work there. Because you may not even realize that someone you worked with in another job way back when is now working at that company.
Right.
So the best way in is someone you already know. That's why I was clarifying if you knew or not. So if you know someone else who works there, that's your introduction. Perfect. You go to, you connect with the person you know if you're not already connected to them.
Sure.
And you say, hey, I would like to get to know blah, blah, blah. Can you make an introduction, or can you, any kind of way you would, if I had seen you at a coffee shop, right? And you knew who I was. Now, granted, if I don't know who you are, it's a little different, but you're looking for someone who knows you.
Okay.
And that's honestly, people, think about, I just met you in the coffee shop. If I walked up and said, hey, how have you been? You're going to say, hey, how have you been? I just saw that, we're on LinkedIn together. Great to see you again. Hope all is going well. Here's what I've been up to. And I was wondering if you could help me out. Isn't that how you would naturally have a conversation with someone if you met them in person?
Exactly.
Think of it that way. Now, if you don't know anyone else, so that's the first, look for a point of connection. You might want to say, who is the right person? Because maybe you don't know. So see where it says people?
Yes.
So click on that people tab. So these are all the people. Then you're going to look for a different point of connection, where they live, where they studied. See at the top above that says next?
Yes.
So click on the next.
Oh.
What they do, what they're skilled at. So you see, you have other ways you can filter.
Wow.
See how you might, and if you click the show more, it gives you a few more. So you can filter down the people who are there to see now how you're connected. If you're first connected, you know that you can just write to them. If it's a second connection, gives you another opportunity. At the very top, you can also search by keyword or school. So where did you go to school?
University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign.
So if you type that in, so the search power of LinkedIn is where this all comes into, because you're looking for points of connection.
Yes.
All right. So now you've put that in as a filter. You could even filter it down more. Okay. If you know it's the Champagne, you click on that, you're down to 756, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And then if you click on that, man, here's the power. So you get down, you want to narrow that down as much as you can. Now scroll down. I mean, you can keep filtering it. That's your list.
Wow.
So you start looking through that list, and then you see if you can key on the right person to connect with. That could be, reflective of. The other thing is, you're going to click on it. You're going to look at their profile. One of the ways you can see how active they are is by clicking on that activity. Remember I showed you earlier because if they're not active at all, they don't have to be posting, but they're liking and commenting. At least you know they look at their LinkedIn. Because one of the things that happens most with LinkedIn when you reach out to someone is you get ghosted.
Right.
They don't respond. Well, a lot of times it's because it's just someone who doesn't look at LinkedIn.
Right.
Right. So don't take it personally, but if you want to do that extra work, by all means, see if they're active or not before you reach out to them. But that's the way I would recommend. You really want to find as many points of connection.
I am so glad I asked you that question, because I've been, recommending people to go to the company and then finding people. But the way you just described it is so much more strategic. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that we are optimizing our LinkedIn profile so that we're strategic and be able to get to the company that we want to get a job there. So fantastic stuff, Lisa. I love it. I love it. Okay, Lisa, well, any final words before we close?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Rosie. Thank you all who are listening here. Feel free to reach out to me, lisakanda.com, lisa@lisakanda.com. So I make it pretty simple to find me. If you have questions about LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. If you see this, just put your phone up to there. It'll get you to my LinkedIn profile. On my YouTube channel, I have a whole playlist of LinkedIn video tips. Feel free to go watch my video tips on just extra ninja things you can learn about how to optimize using LinkedIn to be time efficient and productive. That's where I focus a lot of my effort on right there.
Awesome, Lisa. Well, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate all your knowledge and expertise that you've shared with us. And I will see you soon, Lisa.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone. Well, I hope you got some really good information from my session with Lisa. She went through the various components of the LinkedIn profile. And the one thing that I took away that I did not realize is when you're searching for a company and you're trying to get in touch with individuals within that company, you can be very strategic as to how you look for people on LinkedIn. So the example that we did is at the top search bar, I put Chase, and then I clicked on people, and it gave me a list of people. But then there's different sub filters that you can go and continue to click on. And that way you can try to find people that you have something in common and try to reach out to them with that commonality. That I think is so key because, again, you can network very strategically using the power of the LinkedIn filters. So Lisa left us with 2 actionable tips. Tip number 1 is to download her LinkedIn Less is More method worksheet. You can get that right from her Lisa Kanda profile on LinkedIn, or you can go to her website, which is lisakanda.com. Tip number 2 is consistency is key. So she says, be more consistent in using LinkedIn. If you're in the process of searching for a job, then making those connections with either recruiters or hiring managers is going to be a really good and powerful way of getting to know them, and especially recruiters, like they get to know you. Having all your keywords in your profile is going to be a huge difference. So again, using LinkedIn a little bit more consistently is key. And her worksheet has different things that you can do and how many minutes it should take you. So her worksheet is really great because I downloaded it myself. So I think, again, if you haven't gone and looked at your LinkedIn in a year or 2, it is time for you to go back and, again, brush it off, dust it off, and just give it a little bit of cleaning and washing, and you will be able to move the needle forward just a little bit more. So with that, remember to be brave, be bold, and take action.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Let these stories of self-encouragement and professional development serve as a guide in navigating through corporate America in the most practical and fulfilling way possible. Do not forget to subscribe to the show at nowomanleftbehind.com for more content like this. Leave a rating and share it with your friends because we want to make sure that no woman is left behind. Until I see you next time, remember to be brave, be bold, and take action.